Ladies and gentlemen, on overview and occasions, of course, we have describes, of course, the few tips, the solutions, basically to that issues which we are seeing, of course. A video is a very different, very undeceiving matters, but if it comes to different, to most videos you can cross because those guys they label themselves, they say we are comedy, and then if the other one is doing a country comedies, of course, must be a copyright as well. If the copyright is not the real copyright, and then we went and we receive this one, a suggestion from people. They say they say that this is Uganda, very small there country. And then they say if you look at Uganda, someone from the northern Uganda will say I'm from northern Uganda. This one will say I'm from central Uganda. This one will say I'm from west, northern Uganda in the west. And then of course that is because this is the people there, they're in the village. They have to first blacklist themselves so that they will be able to get to that particular village without addition, without further isolation from the rich families which they meet in the city, in the big cities such as central area of Uganda. So that one you have to, of course, educate the people you are speaking to, and then how you put the statement to people, unless the people understand. And then when we talk of northern part of Uganda, of course, northern part of Uganda is the part of Uganda. You can see there northern part of Uganda. Northern part of Uganda is not, doesn't mean that it's north as a country. That's the northern part of Uganda. What about this guy here, the South Sudanese guy, which is saying I'm a South Sudan? And then if you're saying you're South Sudan, how do you want to educate this kind of order to the people, to pop up yourself, to bring yourself, that let the people identify you are there on the TV? It will bring for you this one. That is like a setting this one emergency state for yourself. And then the people that you bring alongside from their home, you bring these main people and then you put them all in the videos. And then there they are not defended. And then there people they are reading, this is a Sudan. And then you're claiming your countries. And then you're claiming, you have even the counterfeit of that area. But if we talk of this one, you have your own counterfeit, and then you say you run away from Sudan. So if you run away from Sudan, what about this area, which we told you this one, the Equatorial people, what about these people? What are they gonna do about that? So if they're the one that towards the border of Uganda, then alongside here they said they cover these borders. They are the borders alongside the East African border. So what will you do? You're in the middle guy, and then you're gonna even take away the order of this border. You not recognize a border is a border. Once this border lose control, and then they cannot even have themselves their Sudan, and then of course it will be very difficult things. That's why we are working hard to register back the militia of Sudan, which involved in war, and then stop that war. And then they say we can now, because this guy, the SPLA, the SPLA is different. Their name is different. If you look at the SPLA and then you look at their real name, the real statement they are writing there, they say that is a manifesto which they already put in the Sudan, because they are fighting for their right. Instead, they are the same issue, and they are the same Sudan military militias, which changed their name, and then they are running propagandas against the rest of the militias so that they cannot earn the money, then they cannot earn even a living with their children at home, holding that country. That's why it cost the militia to leave that power to these people SPLA and then run to Uganda because they have their families in Uganda. That's why their families call them to go to Uganda. And then if you look here, this is edition, the SPLA, the word SPLA means edition Sudan, the People Liberation Army. They mean the People Liberation Army, the People Liberation Army of Sudan. So that's why. If now you look at the South Sudan, they have that propaganda which is like the same as the SPLA, as they have abbreviated. They have no differences. That's the same mentality. Instead, they put another salt so that they will kill this many population away, which as they did in the SPLA. Well, how they introduce the SPLA, people are not well educated. And then that is we who are participating with you people. Whatever you live in Nigeria, you live in Kenya, you live in Uganda, you will be involved, you will be killed innocently. So that's why we are giving you people this kind of suggestion, so that if you involve with this kind of people, what suggestion and what ideas you will have for your future life. So down there. So this guy, if that is the criteria they are using, then this is the new name they have as a rebel advance their name. So what we expect is required down there. So there, if that's the situations, and then we have to ensure we register back this militia which fought this SPLA because which investigated this SPLA, the Equatorian militia will be reinstated in this land, Sudan, which the areas the guy mark here, this is the source, they mark there, of course, they will be reinstated back to their home, and then with guns as a militia of Sudan. Their aim is to investigate these people. If they found they're 100% Sudan, like SPLA, as they say here, we are SPLA Sudan, the People Liberation Army or movement, and then it's the same thing. And then we will leave them, and then they will go back to their refugees settlement camp. And then of which this one that will of course where we suggest 100 trillion will be waste to investigate this kind of crime, so that to stop it earlier than this should accelerate more deaths among the people down there. Because if they are not investigated, then it's not going to work. But we are not going to leave them as a country. What we know is this one Sudan will be recognized from Khartoum up to this one, up to Numule border. If we mean Numule, we mean all the border, whatever Ethiopia one, we mean whatever Yambia one, we mean all the same DRC. So that's what is criteria. That's mean we mean this one, we mean northern part of Sudan to northern part of Uganda. That is Sudan, which we mean there. So north to north. That is the areas that we know is Sudan will be recognized. And if we found these people that are in charge, they are playing propaganda in their office, and that's their office which holds that copyright, and then which they are using as their office is not changed, no nothing. That is their name, because they want to kill this main population away. That's why it must be work hard. That's why our office also changed here, we are working. That's why the UN office also changed their working. They have to first investigate before they hold these refugees who owned this land which has been cut by these people. And then all the NGOs, they have to get disabled. That's why you can see East African is very busy. And with their army also, they are very busy. They have to first investigate. That is why the Central African army is very busy. That's why Ethiopia army is very busy. That's why if you look at the DRC is very busy also with their army for that purpose and for that reasons. So everywhere we are very busy because of that. So such era is a big era. If we cannot control it, and then everything will go out of hands, and then it will be very hard. And we talk of this one, the Toro Empire of 1922, Toro, Uganda, home of kings and proper leaders, of course. The Dinga-Nuer Empire is known for their rebel war expertise in Sudan opposition's leaderships, which formed, of course, the office of Dinga-Nuer Sudan People Liberation Army, and then this is the SPLA movement, and with their new name, which is the South Sudan. And South Sudan is known as a vampire state in Africa, since the land of these vampires come from Sudan national and the Equatorian land actually. So therefore now claiming the states of emergency to increase wealth and then build roads, streets, cities, railways, business, schools, also claiming its own country other than Sudan. But we Equatorians, we say it is too early. We cannot, of course, give up on our own land, and then fountain development. Of course, Equatorians order totals went and stopped the Dinganwell who are in charge of these changes in the South Sudan, making in South Sudan, of course, marking as a country, not a Sudan, and Sudan become totally divided. Since we Equatorians we refused the divisions, and then the order stopped and claimed Sudan land back from the South Sudan people. That is the Dingas, and Nuer of Boro Town. That is the upper Equatorial region, as in Juba, Sudan. Of course, if we talk of Arabs, we talk of British, we talk of Portuguese colonies. That is 1500 and 1800 ADs. Of course, why South Sudan failed, Sudan government labeled to intend using South Sudan as a priorities to borrow nation, to borrow salt. Every economist in the previous and the current contract with the Sudan, and then with the Sudan government, and then being formed, and then being fired, and then the better switching names. That is what they actually said so, because this formation of the South Sudan people, they said, yeah, that is the best because they are confront with these matters, and then they invest with it as being front. So secondly, they also said, yeah, we invest because being fired. Always they choose themselves as the weaknesses to be fired, and then to claim this is their countries, so that people will observe, yeah, these are the only people, the only tallest people owned this country, Sudan, and then they are the ones suffering there. And then thirdly, is better switching the names. That's why they tend to be switching the names to borrow more salt. That is why if they use the same criteria of names, people already know. People like us, we know. If they talk of SPLA, we don't donate money to them. We don't give money to them. Then there you don't give money to them. The weaknesses is already realized. People don't pay money to SPLA. And then if they don't pay money, and then they are no longer making money, there is no development at all. So they came with those suggestions. Another guy wrote a project on their behalf, and then said, yeah, they are South Sudan. They moved the SPLA power to source after this kind of incident of the SPLA incident in the air. Turn the whole thing to take that contract of the incident and then put it in a safer way. They insure that contract because the fly incident insure that contract as a South Sudan, and then that's why they came with this kind of implementation, and then that demolishing these orders again, and then that to kill main powers of people, That's why it's not safe, it's not secure. That's why we are trying to educate, we are trying to recognize. If you expect my say is not there, of course this is investigation. We pull you evidence, the evidence that there. You go to people with Wikipedias, you go to people with Googles, and then you can see yourself. If you expect we say is not the right to say it, but because the land there is not from your ancestors, that's why they don't pay you a lot. If they do pay you, and then they do pay us because that is our land, and then it's very essential. We recognize them as for respect. If is met like that for disrespect, is no longer respectful. We have to first fix it. then we have to first fix our dilemma. We have to first negotiate our dilemma, and then we have to first see into it, and then to recognize and then say, yeah, this is a good thing to proceed. And then from there, everything will be available. Otherwise, that is not mandatory, and is learned for negotiation actually. So overview, of course, that is just very much areas that we already, of course, as we talk of, we know that is of course areas that has been marked. And then if the guy said, yeah, they cannot give up, of course, yes, we will have this when the militaries reinstated. Those are the Sudan different armies will be registered within that areas, and then they will fight back that land. Their aim is just to open back that land as a Sudan, to remove that name which they put as South Sudan on the border. They will remove all of that name, and then not to fight even the rest of the people, but they will remove their work is just to work alongside the border, and then to Juba area, and then only destroy the office of that source in Juba, and then demolish everything, and then put back Sudan. That's all. Otherwise, overview, there, that is me, White Hassan. This is it.